I followed a great man that many of our church people will know. His name is Ray Carson. And I remember him telling me, pastored here 35 years, and he was a pastor's pastor. I mean, he was there for everybody, everything. He ran himself ragged. And I remember him look at me and he said, whatever you do, don't do it like I've done it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Between Sundays. Yeah, thanks, Austin. Hey, we're excited about today's episode because we're talking about a topic that probably no one's really talking about, which is fun. We're talking about the subject of pastor, you can't do that. Now, that sounds bad because who's going to look at their pastor who's sitting across the table from them and say, you can't do that? Because he can do whatever he wants. You've often said, I'm a grown man. I can do it. No, you haven't said that exactly. But I want to talk about things that you can't do. And I think that people look at pastors. I'll say, we're going to make it super personal. People look at you. This is targeted at GPC. People can look at you and think that you're a superhero, that there's nothing that you can't do. And I know you well enough to know there's a lot that you can do. But there's some things that you cannot do. And that's what we're going to talk about. And so we're going to jump right in. Do you have any, you want to?
I just want to say there's a lot I can't do. And I'm not a superhero. And there's a lot of humanity and a lot of mistakes in my life. But again, this is a subject, I wish I could have said this. Like really, maybe years ago, I would feel so awkward at saying this. Being older now, more seasoned, again, with humility, I think this is something that should be said.
Yeah, I think it should be said too, and I'm glad we're talking about this today. I think you're going to help some people who genuinely may have a different idea about some of this. So let's talk about what pastors can't do. Okay. So the first thing that pastors can't do is what?
Pastors can't be everywhere. Every time I say yes to someone or something, I'm saying no to someone or something.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I really would love it if we just make this really personal. I want you to say, I can't. Instead of pastors, right? I want you to say, I can't be everywhere.
I can't be everywhere.
You're so uncomfortable right now.
Yeah, it is, because I love people, right? And when there's a party, a shower, there's a celebration, man, my heart, again, I want them to, I'm for them. But I realize I cannot be everywhere. Pastors have run themselves ragged, trying to be everywhere, please everybody, wanting to be there. And again, people are kind to invite you. But the truth of the matter is, I know there are times people wish pastor would show up. Yeah. I wish pastors' wives would show up. I wish, and I fully understand that. And I can't go around explaining all the whys and hows. I can't tell everybody all the reasons. But I realized, I know I have disappointed a lot of people because I didn't show up, right? If somebody said leadership is disappointing people at the rate they can handle and trying to let people know, I love you, I'm for you, man, I want to celebrate, I want to be there for you. And knowing that just because I have only limited time and limited energy, limited, again, schedule, I can't be everywhere.
You said something one time that I think you told me that you're going to disappoint someone. When you make a decision, you're going to disappoint someone. You just have to decide who you're going to disappoint. And whenever you're having to make decisions about where you're going to be, right, I know you well enough to know you don't take none of the things that we're talking about today, you take lightly. I know you. I've been around you long enough. We've been in this for 18, 19 years that I've been here now. I know you well enough. None of this you're not cavalier about any one of these topics that we're going to hit. And so I know that whenever you make a decision of where you can or can't be, it's a very calculated decision that you're thinking through. So you can't be everywhere.
Can't be everywhere.
All right. So something else that you can't do, Pastor.
I can't please everybody. I know. I can't please everybody. A decision one way affects somebody a different way. For instance, like whether it's the temperature of the room or the sound that is being produced, whether it's the felt sense that what we're creating, the environments we're creating, people have opinions, people have ideas, and I realize I just can't please everybody. And so there are people that you listen to, and then there are people that you let them think you're listening to them. Okay. Mm-hmm. And again, not being disrespectful, trying to be servant-hearted, but knowing that I can't be schizophrenic and listen and try to please everybody. If I do that, it is a recipe for failure, right? Trying to make everybody happy. Like somebody said, if you want to make everybody happy, go sell ice cream, right? But even if you sell ice cream, they won't have your flavor or whatever, right?
Somebody's lactose intolerant.
Yeah, it's like, I can't do that. So you can't make everybody. I realize that. And so I've had to settle that issue a long time ago, that there's some things that I do that disappoint people. I never want to disappoint people.
I would imagine that's tough for you. I mean, all of these I know are going to be tough for you. But knowing how much your heart is for people, and again, I feel like I've had the behind the scenes for a long time to see, even times where tough decisions have been made that somebody is not going to be happy. I've seen the way you have wrestled with that, worked through that. So, what has it been like trying to get to the point to where, like, was there a moment where you like that clicked? Because some people are people pleasers, right? Was there a moment? I don't know that I would ever categorize you as a people pleaser, but was there a moment where that shifted and you recognized I can't please everybody?
Yeah, I followed a great man that many of our church people will know. His name is Ray Carson. Love that man and his memory. His wife is still with us. Love Sister Carson. And I remember him telling me, pastored here 35 years. And he was a pastor's pastor. I mean, he was there for everybody, everything. He ran himself ragged. And I remember him look at me and he said, whatever you do, don't do it like I've done it.
Wow.
And the expectation is that I'm going to assume Brother Carson's shoes. And I could never fit in those shoes. I could never be him in his uniqueness and special way that he pastored. So I had to create my own shoes. And so, but here's what I've seen. I've seen that man give himself to people that no longer come to church. I've seen him pour himself out and care and carry people that will turn their back on him. And I don't know if it jaded me, but it did click something in me. Like, you know what? You better do what it takes to be healthy.
Yeah.
Because people are going to leave. That's just part of it. People are going to be unhappy. They're not going to like what you do sometimes. But if you can live between you and God and stay healthy, then that's probably as best as you're going to do. And that to me became just a mark. I'm going to make decisions that keep me healthy, that is worthy of my investment time. Some people just want your time, but they don't respect your time. They don't want to listen to what you say. They want your attention, but they're never going to follow. And so at some point you have to say, I'm not giving my time to that anymore. I'm not going there anymore. I'm done. And again, this is just being real. I just can't please everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So what's something else that you can't do? This is good. This is like therapy.
Yeah, this is therapy. Thank you. My therapist, Billy Haley here.
No way.
Man, just been wanting to say some of these lines. I can't.
Tell me more.
Yeah. What do you mean by, I can't escape making mistakes. As earnest as I try and with much grace and wisdom, earnestly, decisions that I make, I truly can say, wholeheartedly, I'm trying to make the best decision. Sure. I really want to. I don't ever make a decision trying to just, check it off the list, so to speak. I don't ever want to make a decision out of emotions. I really want to say, God, I really think this is the best thing. But at the end of the day, I've made a lot of mistakes. And mistakes that I wish I could redo. Some things I've handled, some problems, some conversations I've had. I wish that I could really redo that. I would do that over if I could, but I can't avoid making mistakes. I'm human. I know that I have limited understanding. I have limited knowledge, and there are some things I just don't always get. But I can say this: I'm trying. I really am trying. And I wish people would trust my heart, even when I make a decision that they would consider a mistake. I would like them to know I'm doing the best that I can.
You use an analogy, and I'm sure people have heard this about deposits and withdrawals, right? There's going to be a time where a mistake can be a tough conversation could be a withdrawal, but a mistake is certainly a withdrawal. And what you have always taught and modeled is that you should have enough investments, you should have enough deposits to, when and if there's a withdrawal, that you're still in good standing. And again, I know this episode is not about you presenting what you can do and me saying, well, you're doing such a great job. I know that's not what it is, but I'm thankful that that you see that. But I'm also thankful to be able to testify that even if there's mistakes, I don't know that I've ever seen a scenario where I can't think of a specific mistake, but I can guarantee you that there was enough investment, there was enough deposit for that, whatever that may have been, a withdrawal or even a perceived withdrawal. But my question would be, what are some things that, and you don't have to be specific about any specific mistake, but what's something that you've learned through a mistake?
Probably the weight of my words. Sometimes I think they're just my words, but to others that are receiving those, they're hanging on them, or they're daggers, right? Just didn't know the weight of my words would be one of them. Sometimes the timing of things, that maybe it was the right thing, but it was the wrong time, and it still made it the wrong thing because it's just the wrong timing. Sometimes it was, I just didn't have all the information and I made a decision too quick. Right? You trusted somebody. You promoted somebody. You believed. You championed somebody, and it was a mistake. And so I think sometimes those things, you're trying to be wise and make the right decision, but again, you're human.
Yeah. All right. So one more. We won't go too many here but one more thing that Pastor Tim Zuniga cannot do.
This is probably the hardest for people to understand, and it's called avoiding favoritism. Okay, a long time ago, I heard John Maxwell say, there's a principle: when you're the leader, it's lonely at the top. All right, you've heard that expression?
Absolutely.
So leaders have a tendency to be lonely, like they don't let people in. They have to be perfect. They live in a glass house. I don't want anybody to see me with my hair down, so to speak. I can't trust. Like, what if they, whatever. And so that's notorious. Leaders don't have friends. Like, if they do have friends, they have to be ministry friends and all of that. Julie and I are blessed with incredible friends. Like, we have dear friends literally all over the United States and some around the world that are dear friends. And we're blessed that way, and I'm grateful for our friends. But, I remember John Maxwell say, it's only lonely at the top if you want it to be. It doesn't have to be, right? Yeah. And so at some point, the model of Jesus is Jesus had 12 disciples, but Jesus had favorites. And he had 3, Peter, James, and John, that he did very unique, special things with, like Mount Transfiguration. They went to the Garden of Gethsemane. They got inside, scoop. And then even out of the 3, there was one, and that was John the Beloved, where he was as close to Jesus as anybody, right? And so in that model, as a pastor, in Julie and I, we need friends. We need connection. We need people we can laugh with and have connections. And we have some great friends in this church. And one of the things, and I don't like to say, I don't put a lot of my life out there, like on social media. Like you rarely see us, promote things, push things. Julie will ever now and then push something out there. And the reason is because whatever you put out there, there's going to be some people that are happy for you. Like, Pastor, I'm so glad to see you do that. So happy for you having that experience. So wonderful. You deserve it. And then there's others that would find some critical way of saying, well, why ain't I? Or why does he always? There's always a negative undertone with that. Sure. And again, that's part of it. I get it. I'm not here to please everybody. But again, I made the decision when I got here, we're not going to be lonely. We're going to have friends. We're going to associate. We're going to travel. We're going to do things together. We're going to have vacations. We're going to let our kids know what it is to have healthy friendships in their life. And so I realize there are people that see us with, some families or other people and probably would love to be in that. And in my heart, I would love that. But I realize you do need friends, and all of us in our unique way have meaningful friends and good friends. And so I think sometimes people don't understand that, and like, no, Pastor, you're supposed to love us all. Like, you're supposed to treat us all the same. And the truth of the matter is I do love them all, right? I do love them all, but I can't be close to them all. And some people want to be close to me because I'm the pastor. If I wasn't the pastor, they probably wouldn't want to be close to me. Okay. But because of my position, they want to be close to me. That's my heart. It's a gift. I want people to feel near and close. I want to make a connection, an emotional bond with people. But I realize there are friends, and then there are traveling friends. That's a kind of a joke Julie and I have. Like, Are they friends? Or are they traveling? Yeah. Like, traveling friends are different, right? They get it. It's no work. You're not on the job. You're just being you. You're having fun, and we're blessed that way. And so I realize this is something that people may not fully understand. But me and my wonderful wife, we need people that cover us, lift our hands, believe in us, take the good and the bad, and it doesn't change their opinion of us. And I'm grateful for them.
Yeah. Well, again, outside looking in over here, I'm thankful. I think that friendships bring so much joy to our lives, and having quality friends that we can do life with. Ministry's hard. Ministry's hard. So is being a mechanic. So is being a CEO. So is being, right? It's all hard. But it's even more hard when you feel like you don't have anybody that at the end of the day you can go sit at their table, play games, cry tears, love on their kids, right? It's even more hard. And I think if any person deserves it, every person deserves to have close, quality friends to do life with. And I've told you this before, that I celebrate your friendships because I want friends. I want to have people like that. I want traveling friends. I want people that I can jump on an airplane with and go across the country or across the world and do fun stuff. We should all desire to have that. And I'm thankful that you have that. And we're benefactors, I believe, as people who are under your leadership and Sister Zuniga's leadership. If you're encouraged, and you always talk about leaders staying encouraged, if friendships help you stay encouraged, it makes you a better leader. It makes you a better pastor. And so I'm a benefactor of your friendships, and I'm personally thankful for that. And I believe a lot of people really are. And so you can't do everything. And I know that's not easy for you to say, because you're wired to do it all. You're wired to go after it. But you are. This is a super vulnerable episode, right?
For sure.
And if people could see even you right now, like, this isn't. You'd rather be talking about parenting or growing as a leader or even crucial conversations. But I appreciate you sharing this and the transparency. Any final thoughts before we close this episode?
Yeah, I guess it would be the challenge. We often give a challenge in these podcasts. So my challenge is, number one, thank you for letting us in your life, but the challenge would be, pray for us. Yeah. Pray for Julie and I. We covet your prayers. We need your prayers. Pray for us that God would give us wisdom and strength, and that He would lead and guide our lives. We want to be good pastors, and we want to love people with a pure heart and a right spirit. And again, I just invite you to pray for us sincerely. Just ask God to cover us and walk with us and help us to shepherd this flock in the best way we can. I earnestly would ask you to do that. I think the other thing is to give us grace. And I will say this church has been so good to my children. Rarely have I heard them condemn my kids for being kids. There's a lot of families in this church that I owe a debt of gratitude that has covered my kids, that know mistakes probably that their mom and I don't know. but they loved them. And I will be forever indebted to those families and men and women that protected us. So give us grace. We want to get this right. We're not perfect. We don't pretend to be perfect. We don't pretend to even be the best pastor. We are sincerely trying to be a good pastor and want to honor God, but give us grace. And then the last one, if we've ever done anything to hurt you, forgive us. I sincerely ask you to forgive us. So we don't want to hurt anybody. We're not here to do anything but lead well. And so if in any way we have hurt, offended, forgive us.
I appreciate your vulnerability again, and you're an amazing pastor. Sister Zuniga is an amazing pastor's wife, and we're super thankful for you both. Let's close with a verse, because we have great volunteers. We have great pastors, and we have great volunteers.
Yeah.
So I believe we have a favorite verse. You want to tell us who that is today?
Yeah, we have an incredible volunteer. This is none other than Brian House, again, who helps in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic drummer, worships, it leads worship, helps with young people. He helps with tech. I mean, he's got so
all
many
over the place.
Yeah, he's got so many talents. Like the guy is uber talented, and then he dresses really sharp.
Yeah, he's pretty sharp.
I'm telling you, like the guy, just.
Have you seen his dad though? His dad's a pretty sharp dresser.
Yeah, I mean, the apple don't fall far.
Right.
I get it. Yeah, but to Brian, man, thank you for just giving your best. Thank you for pouring it in. Thank you for caring. Thank you for putting this church on your back. We love you. You're a fantastic volunteer. Your verse that you said is your favorite verse, and it's a great verse, Romans 8:18. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory that shall be revealed in us. Romans 8:18. Brian, we love you, buddy. Thank you for being an amazing volunteer.
Amen. Hey, and thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Between Sundays.